Hello everybody, I'm Matt, and it has recently come to my attention, thanks to an article on IGN, that there has been some new and much more current information as of today on the Resident Evil 4 remake. Now, I myself being one of Resident Evil 4's greatest fans, I found to take it upon myself to have a look-see and see what's going on, what's being talked about, and you know, because there's a lot up in the air with this game at the moment, and nothing is really set in stone. But I mean, come on. Without further ado, let's see what we're looking at. So yes, I found out about this article through IGN. However, the article itself was actually posted by a news website called Fanbyte, a website I'm not familiar with, but I figure we should take a look at the original source from which the information was acquired. Alright, so here we go on Fanbyte's website on their article. Let's see. The remake for Resident Evil 4 has not yet officially been announced. If you're someone whose sole criteria for believing game information hinges on the fact that nothing is confirmed, then let me stop you early. Nothing in this report is confirmed. In part, that's because the game itself has not yet been confirmed. All the information here is provided by Fanbyte's sources, which are hopefully both trustworthy and accurate. So this is pretty interesting because, you know, why even make an article if it's not based on, like, some sort of reliable intel or information that you have recently acquired? Now, again, I'm not familiar with this website at all, or the people writing articles on it, so I don't know who this guy's sources are. Imran Khan, I'm looking at you, sir. Pretty sus over here. I guess, as always, we need to take things like this with a grain of salt. However, there was, of course, that alleged leak from a month or two ago. That this was very recently, but I can't remember exactly how long ago. And I have it right here. So this was leaked on Twitter, apparently by DC Douglas, which is the English voice actor, the most reoccurring one, I believe, for Albert Wesker, one of the more popular characters in Resident Evil, of course. The man, the myth, the legend, the one we all know and love, and very well portrayed by this actor. Apparently, he allegedly leaked this image along with another one and some info, but this looks legit, and he apparently gotten shit for this. At least that's what I heard. Although maybe not too much shit since it's alleged. Maybe they couldn't prove it. But this was all the rage back when this image first dropped, and this was making headlights. This was definitely turning heads and grabbing attention. And I think because of the mini uproar that this caused, and Capcom immediately made statements about, you know, not being true and trying to cover it up and blah blah blah. I think RE4 Remake has been being talked about for so long that there's no fucking way it's not going to happen. I mean, come on, we're all on the same page here now, right? We're talking about a company that has been making so much success financially off of remakes, particularly in this franchise, over the last few years. I think the assumption that RE4 isn't going to happen, like as a remake, I think that's crazy. I'm pretty sure that it's dead obvious at this point that it is going to happen, and Capcom always tries to cover it up, and they refuse to let any confirmation be given to the public. I mean, obviously, they want it to be a huge surprise. Who wouldn't fucking do that? But, in my opinion, I think it's pretty fucking safe to say it's going to happen. Anyways, continuing on with the article, despite not actually being confirmed yet, a remake of Resident Evil 4, considered by some to be one of the best video games of all time, and those people are obviously right, has been traveling the rumor circles for some time. The story goes that Capcom, emboldened by the promising milestones of Resident Evil 2 Remake, justifyingly so, during its development, started work on a matching remake of Resident Evil 4 as the project began its denouement? The fuck does that mean? Never heard of that word in my life. Which would be over 15 years old by the time of its release. That rumor is true according to our sources. The game is in development and set to be revealed this year, if all goes according to plan, of course. Now, that would honestly make a lot of sense, because Resident Evil games have been coming out almost every year for the past few years. We had Resident Evil 7 in 2017, and then in 2019 we had RE2 Remake. In 2020 we had RE3 Remake, and then of course 2021 we got Village. These Resident Evil games have become somewhat of an annual release, and they've been just as successful. Despite how fast these games are being pumped out, they're still very good, and the public seems to be enjoying them very much so, myself included. So I think it is completely within reason to believe that it would probably come out this year. And I think whatever the next big gaming event is, I don't keep up to date with those things, but I'm sure we'll get a trailer or a teaser or something announced very soon in the near future, and I could totally see it coming out this year, if not next year. But this year wouldn't surprise me at all, especially because the new year just started. The title was originally being developed by M2, a studio of former Capcom and mostly ex-Platinum Games developers that were also working on the Resident Evil 3 remake. Capcom had apparently hoped by greenlighting the project that they could entice Shinji Mikami, the original director of the game, now at Tango Gameworks, to work on the title alongside old friend Tatsuya Minami. This was actually part of the reasoning behind the name M2 itself. Mikami was reportedly intrigued by the offer, but felt Tango would fall apart without him and eventually declined. If that's true, and this guy's sources are to be believed, that breaks my fucking heart. Shinji Mikami is the legend. God bless his soul. And it would have been absolutely phenomenal to have him involved in this game's development in some way. But I digress. After some mixed response to Resident Evil 3 Remake, again, justifyingly so, Capcom shifted the project internally and put Resident Evil 2 Remake's project's leads on it. M2 shifted to a support studio for the title, though their original work is still being used. If this is true, this also makes a hell of a lot of sense, because RE3 felt lazy and rushed, and a lot of people weren't happy with it. Some people were and some people weren't. I myself, I loved the game, but at the same time, if you compare it to the original and compare everything that should have been in the remake that got cut, yeah, I could totally see why people are pissed. Absolutely. And the amount of effort and work that went into RE2 Remake, it is clear that the same amount of love and devotion was not put into Resident Evil 3 Remake. I mean, it's pretty fucking obvious. Resident Evil 3 Remake almost feels like a DLC of sorts. Maybe that's over-exaggerating a little bit, or maybe I'm being too harsh. But, like, it was just so lacking. The game felt so short. It was missing other game modes that the original had. Complete sections in the game were left out. I mean, by that logic and way of looking at it, I can't be being that ridiculous. From that foundation, Capcom is no longer looking for a strict scene-by-scene remake of Resident Evil 4, lauded though it may to be. While the original title began with rookie cop turned Secret Service agent Leon S. Kennedy arriving in a European village at daytime and slowly gunning his way all the way through the bad guys over the course of 24 hours, the remake adjusts that timeline. In Resident Evil 4 Remake, the famous village introduction set piece takes place at night, as does a decent portion of the rest of the game. That's actually so fucking sick, and if they are planning to go on more of a horror route, having it take place at night would make the village sequence so much scarier. I mean, you do get to visit that initial village area at night later in the game, as we all know, but having the giant battle and with the two chainsaw guys running around, like, and all the chaos that ensues with that, oh my god, that happening at night would actually be fucking terrifying. And by terrifying, I mean fucking awesome! The reason for this time change isn't arbitrary. Capcom wants to adjust the tone of the remake into something spookier, taking direct inspiration from discarded Resident Evil 4 demos. That footage, which was used in early GameCube preview reels, featured Leon wandering a lonely castle, getting possessed by black smoke, and fighting off living dolls, as well as other ghastly manifestations. Some of this stuff made its way into the original game in other ways, Most of it, however, was left on the cutting room floor, and direct comparisons are being made during the development of the remake. I am very much aware of the footage that they are talking about here, and it is some of the coolest fucking footage I've ever seen, and it made RE4 look like a completely fucking different game from what we ended up getting with the final product. It actually reminds me a lot of the new recently released Tormented Souls. I feel like it drew a lot of inspiration from those Resident Evil 4 early footage previews. And it just looked fucking amazing and awesome. If you have not seen this footage, I highly recommend checking it out on YouTube. It is super cool. And this could have been its own fucking game. And honestly, if it had been its own fucking game, I would have fucking loved it. Fuck! Some changes to the story, such as giving side characters bigger roles and more screen time, are also planned. Well, that can never be a bad thing, unless, of course, you hog spotlight from people who deserve it more. But hopefully they don't fucking do that. It certainly would be cool to see more footage on Luis, because I thought he was a cool character anyway. And, of course, Krauser, who is just shrouded in mystery throughout the entire game, but he's one of the most badass characters in the Resident Evil franchise. I would absolutely love to see more on him. Capcom plans to flesh out other aspects of the game as well. One focus is Assignment Ada, which was a short campaign starring Leon's rival, sometimes lover, and spy extraordinaire, Ada Wong. The GameCube version of this mini-campaign did not feature much in the way of a story, but allowed players to go through the game's areas as Ada while collecting Las Plagas samples for Arch villains Albert Wesker. It's largely been considered a non-canon bonus that does not make a lot of sense within the game's timeline for the PlayStation 2 and for all subsequent versions, except Resident Evil 4 VR. A campaign titled Separate Ways was added. This had far more plot and showed what Ada had actually been doing throughout the portion of the game. While it was fine, it lacked a lot of the panache, what the fuck, again, another word I've never heard of in my life, and polish the main game had. For Resident Evil 4 Remake, M2 specifically is looking to expand on Assignment Ada and Separate Ways by combining each into one package. That's fascinating. A more fluid and polished companion piece. Not every source we talked to could confirm whether this was in the main game or planned as DLC, but most said it was looking to be a fairly meaty expansion to the source material. Honestly, if that's their plans with Ada, I mean, I couldn't be happier. That sounds fucking awesome. I do think if you wanted to be true to the original game and please pretty much all the fans, Separate Ways should absolutely be included in the game and not be paid DLC. We shouldn't have to wait to get Assignment Ada at all. It was part of the original game. It should be in the fucking remake. But, I mean, if they plan to squeeze out a little more coin from our wallets, that would not surprise me in the least. We are talking about money-grubbing business owners here, so it's to be expected. But here's hoping. I mean, they included modes like the Third Survivor, I think it was called, for RE2 Remake with Hunk, and everything that went with that, so, you know, maybe it's not completely out of the question. Earlier leaks that purported to show Wesker's redesign for a Resident Evil 4 Remake were not accurate. These were from another, now seemingly cancelled Resident Evil project. Wasn't that fucking convenient? Yeah, I don't know if I believe that for a second. Especially because this outfit looks so legit, and it totally looks to be an updated version of what Wesker was wearing in Resident Evil 4. I mean, this totally fits the bill. I would be absolutely shocked if this wasn't the actual concept art for the Resident Evil 4 remake. I mean, this is the perfect look for him. He looks amazing. He looks fucking awesome. If this isn't the fucking official look, I'm gonna fucking riot. Capcom is hoping to announce Resident Evil 4 Remake early in 2022, though the company is undergoing a historic stretch of silence over the last year, with many planned announcements seeing delays for development and marketing reasons. That time frame could be pushed back, especially as the company has seen fair success with shorter announcement to release cycles with the Resident Evil series as of late. Just as I was saying before. As always, game development is fluid, so nothing should be considered locked in or guaranteed until the game's release. Now, in my personal opinion, I'm pretty damn confident that this remake is going to happen. I mean, honestly, there's not really a doubt in my mind that it's going to happen. If it didn't happen, that would be basically Capcom just saying no to more money. Can you imagine a world where Capcom would do that? 'Cause I sure can't! I mean, Capcom has been riding sky high off of its success in the last few years. They have been making damn good decisions and damn good games to follow through with that. But I gotta say, out of the things this article is talking about, with Resident Evil 4 taking more of a horror-focused approach, rather than trying to be a, as they say in the article, a scene-for-scene direct copy of the original Resident Evil 4, I honestly couldn't be happier about that news. I think that is the best way to handle going forward with the development of the remake. Because the thing that you gotta understand is that Resident Evil 4 truly is widely regarded as one of the greatest video games of all time, and it's on a million different people's top 10 lists. I mean, so many people love this game, and for great reason. Hell, myself included, it is debatably my favorite game of all time, or at least one of. I always find it so hard to order my all-time favorite games because I hate making the games that don't get first place feel like they're not loved or appreciated. And I do love you guys, man. I love you guys so much. But you know, RE4 is RE4, alright? Let's not get ahead of ourselves. There's a certain level of prestige and, you know, a demand of respect that comes with owning the title of RE4. But, you know, that being said, RE4 is, you know, a masterpiece to many people, and in their eyes, it's one of the best games they've ever played. And that being said, trying to live up to the original success is pretty much setting yourself up for failure, because there's no fucking way that you are going to make a game better than the original. It'd be mad impressive if you came close, but even then, you're still not going to do it. I mean, let's be honest here. With the RE4 remake, we could pretty much guarantee that shit's gonna get cut out. I mean, RE4, with everything that happens in the game that isn't 100% relevant to the plot, I could absolutely see them cutting out certain areas of the game, or more specifically, like certain rooms or certain battles. Like, that is totally and viably a likely option. That's probably going to happen. And that would upset fans right there. Not only that, but changing certain dialogue lines that people love, or changing characters in different ways and making them not as likable. You could pretty much guarantee your ass that you're going to have a lot of disappointed fans. So that being said, the best thing you can do would be to just own it. Do something different and own it. Make RE4 Remake as different from the original as you possibly can. And what was the original lacking? Horror! It's the one thing that purists of the franchise didn't like about RE4. RE4 brought in so many new fans because it was just such an exceptional game, but people who were there since the beginning, you know, they expected a true horror experience. And a lot of people didn't get it. RE4 is definitely scary at times, 100%, there's no disputing that, but it is not really a horror game. It just has some horror elements and different horror moments. Overall, it's mostly a third-person action game, and honestly, I can agree with that. So that is exactly the perfect opportunity for RE4 Remake to do something new, and not just new, but fucking exciting. You could take RE4 Remake in a direction that the original never took. Return it to its horror roots, which Capcom has been doing an exceptional job at lately, not just with RE2 and RE3 Remake, but even Resident Evil 7 and Village, you know, were very horror-focused, bringing back those horror elements to a time when Resident Evil needed it the most after the fucking atrocity that was Resident Evil 6. Mind you, it's a great game and it's a lot of fun, but it's just not a Resident Evil game. And that has debatably been the case since Resident Evil 4, a lot of people would argue. Despite how much I love the game, I really do understand people's sentiment and where they're coming from with this. So if you want Resident Evil 4 Remake to be a success, then make it unique. Make it have its own identity, something that everyone can appreciate in their own way, and not just have the game ride off the coattails of the original. Doing this, I think, would be a recipe for success, personally. I think it would be the best decision that Capcom can possibly make, and it would be so cool and exciting as an experience. Like, imagine playing through RE Remake, and, you know, you're expecting it to be the same, or at least mostly similar, but now the game is, like, scaring you left and right. What the fuck is that? I don't know what's coming around the next corner. I didn't think this game would actually be scary, and that would shock people. That would be awesome. I would fucking love that. And even if the game took more of, like, a serious approach, not just in its gameplay, but also in its story and in its dialogue, have the characters be more realistic and grounded, and not throwing one-liners and jokes all the time to be lighthearted. And don't get me wrong, I love lighthearted. The original RE4, like I said, in my eyes, it's pretty much a masterpiece. I fucking love that game, and I love all the jokes and the corniness and the one-liners. But it would be so cool and interesting to see it done differently and in a horror setting. Imagine playing as Leon and feeling like it's an actual fight for survival, and you and Ashley are struggling to get out alive, rather than it being Super Cop, killing fucking everyone at the drop of a dime. Effortlessly, at the flick of a wrist, like it's nothing, with the greatest of ease. So anyways, that's my hot take on Resident Evil 4 Remake, and it's one that I truly hope Capcom follows through with. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and if you guys agreed with my opinion, or disagreed, or if you just have any thoughts or opinions of your own, feel free to leave them down in the comments. I like talking about that sort of thing. And of course, if you guys enjoyed this video, and you want to see more content on a potentially upcoming Resident Evil 4 Remake, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and of course hit that notification bell to support me. I'd really appreciate it. And in case you're interested, I live stream. I try to daily. I can't always, but try to live stream as much as I possibly can. And if you're not too familiar with my channel, I'm a trophy hunter, so I love grinding out trophies, but I also love survival horror games, and I play a lot of them very often. So if that interest too strikes your fancy, consider stopping by. If not, what the fuck ever. I'm not gonna cry about it. But anyways, have a great rest of your day, and let us all pray that the rumors are true, that Resident Evil 4 Remake truly is happening, although I'm pretty sure it's a no-brainer at this point. Have a good one, everybody, and I will definitely see you in the next one.